this will be kind of a video response, kind of a rant, kind of lots of things, all rolled up into one nice little package. Hopefully, if this works out. I've tried doing this video about 3 days now. Every time I try it, it doesn't come out the way I want. So hopefully I'm going to be able to combine all this stuff I want to talk about into one nice little package. Jim and I did a video asking why everyone talks about the indies and this and that, and doesn't talk about like old school WCW, for example. Let me answer that question first, and then let me get into why I think people talk about the indies a bit more. I think one of the reasons why people don't talk about old school WCW is A, most of the people on YouTube weren't around then. Most of the people who were even remember the Monday Night Wars on here only remember, for example, the later years of the Monday Night Wars, or what they've been shown by WWE, or released through there, or stuff that they've seen, and they weren't really around. And you kind of have to be around for a lot of that stuff just to get the general feeling, and that sort of thing. And do a lot of research, and you can find all that stuff out, but you don't have a lot of that. I think that's one of the reasons. You do have a lot of people that come on here, and, you know, they review all the WrestleManias. They do that sort of thing. So I think the reason why they do that is because it's much more accessible to get the WrestleMania stuff and the WWE pay-per-views, WWF pay-per-views, than it is WCW pay-per-views. I think that's the other thing. It's even indie wrestling is far more accessible in getting a lot of, you know, WCW, World Class Championship Wrestling, AWA, Mid-South, even Smoky Mountain Wrestling, even old ECW stuff. All of that stuff, I think it's much more easier to find, you know, Ring of Honor, and PWG, and Dragon Gate, and Chikara. That, and it's all new, and people want to see new stuff. They don't want to see stuff that they've heard about, kind of already know. And some of that stuff, you know, particularly stuff like early 90s, stuff through the 80s, even back in the 70s, is very dated stuff to a lot of degree, and you have a lot of people that watch it, don't understand what they're saying, and go, you know, why was this good? And I think that's the other part of it too. Now, to answer your question of why people feel the need to talk about indies, here's why. I watched Fool Killer's newest Impact review, and I realized this is a great example because he was going off about lockdown. And the fact that this lockdown looks, on paper, to be one of the most least impressive lockdowns ever, in my opinion. There's a lot of big names on this card, but it doesn't look to be that good compared to lockdowns of the past. So let's get into this. Let me talk about this a little bit, and then you'll understand why I think people are much more in tune to talk about the indies than they are other things. Right off the bat, we've got the beautiful people, Madison Rayne and Velvet Sky, taking on Angelina Love and Tara in a convoluted gimmick match within a gimmick match. It's a steel cage match. All the matches are steel cage matches. On top of that, both the tag team titles are up for grab, the knockout tag titles, and Angelina Love's singles championship is up for grab, meaning that if Madison Rayne or Velvet Sky pin Angelina Love, they win their championship. However, if Angelina Love and Tara pin the beautiful people, they get the knockout championships. There we go. Fairly simple, but convoluted crap. Meanwhile, on May 8th in New York City, Ring of Honor, for their May 8th show, has only announced 2 matches, and I'm going to talk about both of those matches. We have Amazing Kong taking on Sarah Del Rey in a Shimmer Dream match, which literally, and I'm overstating this, could be the best women's match in the last 10 years. This could be a truly awesome, spectacular match if they give them time, let them go out there, let them do their thing, truly showcase what women can do. And I think most people on here who are fans of Awesome Kong, or Amazing Kong, as she'll probably be known again now, probably also know who Sarah Del Rey is. A lot of people have been asking why Sarah Del Rey is not in TNA already. And I think they're much more excited about that match than they probably have been anything since, you know, the Gail Kim Awesome Kong stuff from years ago. So, we have that. There's one example. Then we have a tag team match of Team 3D taking on the band of Six Pac and Scott Hall. No Motor City Machine Guns. No Motor City Machine Guns. We have Team 3D taking on the band. Meanwhile, May 8th, New York City, we have the Kings of Wrestling of Chris Hero and Claudio Castagnoli taking on the Motor City Machine Guns of Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. And a match that will probably be amazing. Maybe, on paper, a Match of the Year contender. Not something we're going to see. Probably better than anything possibly that we will see on this Lockdown card by itself. Hell, the women's match might be better than anything we'll see on this Lockdowns match. Maybe not. Maybe Lethal Lockdown will be better. But then we get Kevin Nash versus Eric Young. I don't think that's a match anyone really wants to see. We have Doug Williams, Kazarian, and Shannon Moore. That could be really good if they let it. Kurt Angle versus Mr. Anderson, a match I don't think anyone gives two shits about. We have the Lethal Lockdown match of Jeff Jarrett, Jeff Hardy, and Rob Van Dam with Abyss taking on Sting, Beer Money, and Desmond Wolfe. On paper, literally, and they've done a bad job building this up, this could be, maybe, talent-wise, this is probably the best Lockdown there's ever been, and it could literally be an amazing match. I don't think it's going to be. I have no faith that it's going to be. They've done such a crappy job building it up. I don't think it's going to be. Then we have AJ Styles versus the Pope. Again, I was excited about this match when we first heard about it. It's been 2 months since then. I don't care about it anymore because TNA has made me not care about it anymore. Meanwhile, also on May 8th, we get Christopher Daniels. Remember him? Remember he's the guy that, before Hulk Hogan and his crew showed up, was main eventing TNA, putting on 2 Match of the Year contenders back-to-back in TNA. Probably the 2 best matches TNA had put on in forever. On 2 pay-per-views that is still not out on pay-per-view will probably be the last thing. I'm starting to really think it might be one of the very last things I ever buy from TNA in a triple pack that most people will probably never see, and it's too bad. And I do hope when that comes out, people go out and buy it and send a goddamn message to TNA. We have that. That's the card. And on May 8th, we have 2 matches and we have Christopher Daniels. And that's it. And I would automatically tell you flat out, I think most of the people on here, just from what I just said, would be more intrigued of seeing that card in New York City for Ring of Honor than Lockdown, which is one of TNA's biggest pay-per-views of the year. Keep in mind, this May 8th show will probably be one of Ring of Honor's biggest shows of the year. I'm not denying that. But there is no way that TNA's, with the talent roster they have, there is no reason why I should want to see this show, this May 8th show, more than I should want to see Lockdown. Ring of Honor, robot or not. That's the God-honest truth. That's just how it is. Now, let's get into some real indie crap, shall we? And when I say indie crap, I mean just some real indie wrestling stuff. Okay, at the end of this month, April 23rd, 24th, and 25th, Chikara is putting on their King of Trios tournament. The biggest show they have of the year. 3 days of wrestling. 3 days of awesome wrestling. They bring in people from literally around the world. This is the biggest show of the year. And I can tell you right now that if I had the option of spending the money and getting one of the travel packages to go to Lockdown or going to King of Trios, I would go to King of Trios, and I would hope a lot of other people would too. I'll run down the card. Not that most of anyone that watches this will know who some of these guys are, but literally, you have just the teams. I'll just run down the teams. These are literally the people that will probably be on for the majority, all 3 nights of this. You have Team Delicioso of the Ice Creams, which are a Chikara team of 2 guys dressed up as ice cream. And Christopher Daniels dressed up as Curryman. That right there, for anyone that, you got Christopher Daniels on this card right there with two guys dressed up as ice cream cones. He's dressed up as Curryman. This is going to be awesome. This is awesome in and of itself. You have Team Osaka Pro from Japan. I don't know any three of these guys, so I'm not even going to try. You have Team BBK, which is a big angle in Chikara, the angle, not a big angle, the big angle in Chikara right now, of Claudio Castagnoli, one of the best guys, in my opinion, in the world right now. Tarsus, I believe his name is, and Aries. You have The Future Is Now, with Jigsaw, Jigsaw, Equinox, and I can't remember the other guy's name. Oh, well. Let's see, you have Team Big Japan, another team from Mexico, which is going to include a mini, which should of one of the Mexican wrestlers, which should be hilarious in and of itself. First Family is going to be there. Another Team BBK. The Jacksons are going to be there, and which means the Young Bucks are going to be there with their brother, with their smaller, younger brother. Matt Classic is going to be in a trio with two other guys who do throwback gimmicks. They're called the Throwbacks. The Unstable, you're going to have Quackenbush with Frightmare and Hallowicken. That should be a good team. Let's see, Aeroform's going to be there with another guy who I don't know much about. The Colony, of course, and Fist. And then you have another Team Mexico with Jorge Rivera and two other guys from Mexico that I don't know too much about. And all of these guys will pretty much make up the entire weekend. And I will tell you right now, I would much rather go see that than I would Lockdown, just on paper. I don't know, maybe Lockdown will be better. I don't know, but I'm just saying that, yeah, that's why I think so many of us talk more about the Indies, is because of crap like this. I'll tell you what, I think that both of those shows right there, to me, are more interesting than Extreme Rules 2, which, to me, is just like, I don't care about that pay-per-view either. So that's why I think we care more about it, is because it's more interesting. There's more stuff that we want to see. There's more stuff that we would like to see. I would much rather see the Motor City Machine Guns in matches in which they can show what they can do, rather than watching them be squashed by, whoever the flavor of the month is for Hogan and Bischoff. I would much rather see really great women's wrestling than, just literally in TNA, and there's nothing wrong with a little, T and A with some women's wrestling, as long as it's at least good women's wrestling. But when you get virtually no good wrestling out of it, then it is kind of pointless, in my opinion. And there you go. I think that's why. That's why. And that doesn't even get into, the major indie shows of the year. You got the major Ring of Honor shows. I think most people would like to buy that. I truly feel that, that Lockdown will not be as good as Big Bang was. I don't feel that, I think if you look at the other big shows that will happen in indie wrestling all year, I think that they are just much, much better, funner shows to watch than anything that TNA or WWE gives. And because it's recent, and I think that's the other big thing, because it's recent, people are going to talk a little bit more about it than other things. So there you go. As you can tell, I'm not looking too forward to Lockdown. I said before that if Lockdown sucks, I'm burning the hat. And I'm really feeling the hat is going to go up in flames, and it's not going to be a pretty sight. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see till Friday. So there we go. Four Horsemen shirt. This will never be burned, but the hat will probably be burned. I have a sinking feeling. But anyways, with that, I'm out. Hold it.